Hey traders, it's John Fortune here with this week's Weekly Forex Forecast for the 3rd of September to the 7th of September 2018. As always, we're going to start by looking at the US dollar index and oil before running through a number of markets, looking at the key levels of support and resistance in the process. And we're also going to be highlighting some of the targets that we're going to be looking for this week and also in the coming weeks ahead. So just a quick announcement before we start, that the new Top Forex Targets website is now live over at www.topforextargets.com. So for all of those who have been asking me, you can now finally get access to the levels that we're using here each week on over 30 different markets. We also have on the website the brand new Top Forex Targets Forex course. And although this is jam-packed with information as well as a strategy with 10 clear, well-definable rules which you can follow to execute your trades, we've decided as a way of saying thank you to our subscribers and the people who follow the forecast to currently release it at a special price of only $49 so everybody who wants the information can afford to get it. You can find out more about what's exactly in the course by clicking on the video link in the description below. So with that said, let's jump over to the charts and see where the money is this week. So as always, starting with the US dollar index. Now, as we start the week below the 96.07, we are looking overall for further declines in the dollar index. You can see we came quite close down here to the next key area of support to the downside, the 94.34. But because this is such a distance here, if we do get a pullback, and we preferably are looking for a pullback for broken support, looking to turn resistance at the 96.07, this could actually indicate strength in the dollar pretty much for perhaps even the rest of the week, next week. So in terms of the US dollar index, we do not have going into this week a very clear directional bias. Yes, we are looking to the downside, but if we get a bigger correction going into next week, we may see some strength coming into the dollar index next week. So very simply put, we're going to go into next week with a neutral bias on the dollar index, meaning we're going to trade the pairs, the currency pairs on their own merit without a strong bias in the dollar index one way or the other. But in terms of technicals, if we can get a pullback and a retest of the 96.07, this is going to be a great place we can once again start to look for bearish formations and patterns. We're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside in the target set, the 94.34. If we get a breakthrough here, and in this case we would need a breakthrough the 94.18 as well, we'll be looking for the next key area of support to the downside in the target set at the 93.84. Next, we have crude oil. Now, last week we noted that there was quite a way to go to the target to the upside, and you can see that it's actually ended up taking more than 1 week. So going into this week, we are starting the week above the key area of broken resistance, looking to turn support at the 69.11. If we can get a pullback and a retest of the 69.11, this is going to be the optimal place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the target set from last week and next key area of resistance to the upside at the 72.15. So the first pair we're going to look at is euro dollar. Now, last week we came up and took out the target in the euro dollar, and in fact, in the new course available on the website, we actually outline exactly how the 10 rules we give in the strategy played out and allowed us to trade this successfully. Not back in time or 10 years ago or 5 years ago, but actually how we took this trade successfully last week. And you can see all of that in the course. And since we traded into the target, we actually bounced down and we started to decline to the downside. So very simply put, going into this week, we start the week above the key area of broken resistance, looking to turn support down here at the 1.14485. If we can get a pullback in the euro dollar, and preferably if we can get a pullback all the way to the broken resistance turning support at the 1.14485, this is going to be a great place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. We're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and target set, the 1.17497. And if we can get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking up towards the next target to the upside and target 2, the 1.17906. Next, we have the pound dollar. Now, last week we did have a rally in the pound dollar, and we did take out the target to the upside set at the 1.2957, and we had a bit of a pullback since then. So very simply put, going into this week, as we sit above the key area of broken support and resistance at the 1.2929, if we get a pullback and a retest of this area here, this is going to be a great place, especially as we're quite close to the target up here, to get some better risk to reward. This is going to be a great place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns and entries in this area. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the target set, the 1.3050. And if we get a breakthrough here, we're looking up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set at the 1.3074. Now, realistically, I did a bit of a pullback there, but you're not going to be able to trade in here. So you can take this again. When you get the levels this close, you can see one more as a soft target and one as an aggressive target. They're not really offering the capability to actually trade. For example, if we get a break above the 1.30740, this is when we can start to look for some accumulation and again a retest of broken resistance turning support up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside at 1.3205. So the next pair we're going to look at is the US dollar Japanese yen. Now last week we started the week up in this area and we were looking for potential pullback and preferably a retest of broken resistance looking to turn support at the 110.586. You can see we did start to get this pullback. So very simply put, as we start the week above the 110.586, we are still favouring longs in the US dollar Japanese yen. If we can get a pullback and preferably a retest of the 110.586, this is going to be a great place where we can start to look for potential bullish formations and patterns, looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area resistance to the upside in the target set at the 112.054. And if we can get a break through here, although again this may take longer than just 1 week, we'll be looking up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside in target 2 at the 113.086. So the next pair we're going to look at is Aussie dollar. Now last week we started the week sitting underneath the key area of broken support, so looking to turn resistance at the 0.73457, and you can see we were looking at this as a great place to start to look for bearish formations and patterns, and we had a really nice sell-off from this key area of resistance. We came all the way down and we stopped just shy of the target that we had set from last week, the 0.71658. So very simply put, as we start the week below the key area of broken support, looking to turn resistance at the 0.72467, if we get a pullback and a retest of the broken support looking to turn resistance at 0.72467, this is going to be a great place we can once again start to look for bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the target set from last week, the 0.71658. And if we can get a break through here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside in target 2, the 0.70978. So the next pair we're going to look at is the New Zealand dollar. Now last week we were sitting just underneath the key area of broken support, looking to turn resistance at the 0.67200. And as you can see, when we traded into this area, this was a great place to start to look for bearish formations and patterns from last week. And we did sell off very nicely to the downside, making our way down towards the target set from last week at the 0.65440. So very simply put, as we start the week below broken support looking to turn resistance at the 0.66408, this is a great place where if we get a pullback into this area, and preferably if we can get a retest, this is a great place to start once again to look for bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the target set from last week and next key area of support to the downside at the 0.65440. And if we can get a break through here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside in target 2 at the 0.64568. So the next pair we're going to look at is the US dollar Swiss franc. Now last week we had a really nice move to the downside in the US dollar Swiss franc. We took out both targets to the downside, and in fact this is another pair where we show you in the course how we traded this successfully last week and how if you'd followed the 10 rules outlined in the course you could also have taken this trade. So this was a great move last week. Very simply put, as we start the week below broken support looking to turn resistance at the 0.9873, because we had a big move, we might need a bit of a breather here. If we can get a pullback and a retest of broken support looking to turn resistance at the 0.98073, this is going to be a great place where we can start once again to look for bearish formations and patterns, and we can look at initiating shorts down towards the target set and next key area of support to the downside at the 0.96476. And if we get a break through here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside in target 2 at the 0.95838. Next we have the US dollar CAD. Now last week we had a really nice sell-off to the downside, and again those of you who take the course you'll see how we successfully traded this using the 10 rules last week. We bounced after having this really nice sell-off, taking out the targets. We bounced and we ended the week actually very close to the resistance area where we started the week. So very simply put, as we start the week below the key area of broken support looking to turn resistance to 1.30952, if we get a pullback and a retest, this will be the optimal place to start to look for bearish formations and patterns once again. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the target set to the downside and next key area of support at the 1.28029. And last but not least, we have gold. Now, last week we had very little movement in gold, but we start the week below the key area of broken support looking to turn resistance to the 1205.57. So very simply put, this is a great place to once again start to look for potential bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at potentially initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside in the target set, the 1160.50. And if we get a break through here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside in target 2, the 1142.40. So that is it from me for this week, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know by liking, sharing and subscribing. A big thank you to those of you who do that on a regular basis, and a big thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel so far. Feel free to go and check out the new website at www.topforextargets.com. Otherwise, the only thing left to say is take care and don't forget to trade safely.